maybe I've just come up with a product line that's going to save $100 billion a year and I should stop talking about it on the podcast.
Welcome to the Customer Commerce Podcast, where technology's fast and biz is a blast.
In life and in business, time is precious. It's why customers stay or leave and why businesses succeed or fail. We're here to give a voice to everything that makes business, whether as a customer or as a CEO, easier and more rewarding. Welcome to the Customer Commerce Podcast. Let's dive in. Welcome, ladies and gents, to episode number 30. This is the Customer Commerce Podcast. You are joined with the three amigos, your favorites, Mikel Linzar, CEO and founder of Store Connect, David Breyer, branding, advertising, marketing expert, and just enthusiastic, just person in general. And myself, Jess. We are coming at you with a trending topics episode, and we're going to dive right into it. It's the LA fires, completely devastating. And we're not going to go into, that situation to bring you down, but more of the things that we've seen online that have been so uplifting from a community basis and just from human to human. There's just so many videos that express so much hope in the community and shows the power of an individual and really what they deep down want to do, which is help.
I agree, Jess. These fires, these are ridiculous. They're affecting an area, I think the size of Johannesburg as a city. Like, it's just, the volume is insane. But the people that are helping, I think it's really interesting because they're all the small businesses. They're all the community activities. They're all the, mum and pop shops or small franchises and things like this that really points to the fact of how important this whole small business economy is. And I think it's great. You're not going to get Chick-fil-A or Wendy's or Walmart able to help at the level of 10,000 small businesses. It's just that they don't have the staff, and those staff are not bought in on the mission of the small business, and there's not that level of motivation. I'm not disparaging any of those workers. Probably a lot of them are in there volunteering personally, but they're not doing it at the behest of their employer, right? But I bet you and I've seen examples, and I'm sure this is widespread, there's a lot of small businesses that have just said to their staff, we're working on the fires for the next few days. It's like, let's do it. Let's give back to this community that's looked after us so much. And, it's really about that human element on relationships and commerce. And, it's crazy. I don't know how they're going to hold the Olympics there in a few years. The devastation is going to be held and felt throughout the entire economy. I mean, we're talking about California is the fourth largest economy in the world, or something like that. Fifth? Anyway, something like that. It's crazy. If California was a country, it would be 4 or 5 on the national index. So, yeah, and their capital's just basically been half wiped out. Yeah. I don't have words.
Yeah, I've been fortunately. I have some friends who were very fortunate who were near, but not directly.
I know someone who lost a house. Yeah.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
You know them too. I'll tell you afterwards.
Okay.
But yeah, it's crazy, and the insurance getting wrapped up. And anyway, we could do a whole episode on this, but it's not customer commerce. I think the point is that these small businesses are really getting in there and helping. And I think this is something to really take a lot of future hope from, and the promise of why we need to keep helping these small businesses do well in life and to go to their websites and buy their stuff is that in these sorts of times of need, that's what's going to fix it. These small businesses are going to be the ones that are doing the donations and doing the volunteering and in just such large volumes that it out creates everything else that's happening. So I think it's really interesting.
Yeah, I saw a Twitter post that said community works faster than government. And it's not to get political whatsoever, but it's
true.
The speed in which community, like whether not even just with, this specific situation, but I've seen, GoFundMe, what is it called? GoFundMe.
GoFundMe.
Crowdfunding. Yeah. Crowdfunding for anything, like my whole existence of life when when something happens and the community gathers together, the situation is solved within a day because the what you said, the human connection is at the forefront. It's not business per se, it's not money, it's not other agendas, it's help.
There's also an ability to be nimble. When you don't have a big machine for things to have to go through layers and such like that, you actually have, oh my God, help is needed, and you can go right into action to do that, whether that's monetary or physical or whatever like that. That level of agility is vital, and that's what makes for strong communities. That was one of my most pleasurable things growing up in Brooklyn, because Brooklyn was the melting pot. That's where everyone emigrated, when they were coming in, and you had this melting pot of community on every block, and that element of community is vitally important.
Yeah.
Vitally important.
I totally agree. And I think this is why a podcast like this is important to, I guess, flow attention and power to those small businesses, and any help that we can give is yours for free. So moving on to the next kind of topic is, there was a stat in the retail dive saying that in 2024, retailers are facing a massive 103 billion loss from fraudulent returns. And this is mainly around the clothing industry, where, you want to buy a top, wear it for a day, and then be like, cool, I've kept the tag on it, I don't want it anymore because you've worn it. I feel like us girls are very much, it's something that we're always wanting to do, because there's so many choices, and we can't wear the same dress twice or three times. And so it's very easy to do. It's not okay, of course, but you get away with it because there's the dress, there's the tag. It's not harmed. It's not damaged. What do you think?
This is why we can't have nice things.
Yeah, that is true.
Look, fraudulent returns is hard. I mean, it's going to continue to be an arms race. I don't know. I mean, maybe the next thing that they put is a tag that is really obvious if you're wearing it.
Like it changes color or something with your
body heat. Yeah. Like if you put I think, maybe this is a whole new, maybe I've just come up with a product line that's going to save $100 billion a year, and I should stop talking about it on the podcast. But you make a little tag that's like the clothing tag, and it's temperature sensitive. And if the temperature is above 30 degrees Celsius for more than 1 hour, then it changes color on you. So if it gets washed, it changes color. If it's against your skin, it changes color. And if you're wearing it for 5 minutes, no big deal. If you're wearing it for half an hour, sorry, it's been used. Even if it was around your home, it's been used. That's probably the next step and where we're going. There's a broader problem of culture. A little bit, retail and online shopping has sort of been its own worst enemy in this aspect, in that building out systems like this and allowing all of the free returns has created a situation where there's no perceived cost in the free return. And there isn't on an individual level, and that's sort of a problem. It's like the incentives are askew. It doesn't cost Jess anything more to return a product at an individual level. But I can guarantee you that those manufacturers are going to be calculating that $100 billion into their costs next year. So all the products are going to go up in price as a result. This is, a major thing. I think another way to beat the rental, the returns aspect, is people in your store. Like that statistic we did in the last episode, that 80% of transactions happen in retail. So get them to come in store. I'm sure people who buy things in store are less likely to return them. I think there's one company that does it quite well, where if you return an item to them, they don't refund it. They just credit you in store credits, so you have to buy something else. I think that's probably the smartest way to do returns. Sure.
Good contract.
We'll take it back from you. That's fine, but we're not going to give you money back for it. You can buy something else. And this is where selling via Amazon and things like that will kill you as a small business, because they will just refund the money, no questions asked, and you just have to deal with the stock. And in many cases, you can't resell that stock. It's now at a broken level. You don't necessarily have a packaging organization within your company to be able to repackage this stuff. I know that there's one entity that actually gives you 110% credit for everything you return, which on the face of it sounds bizarre. Like, why would you give people more credit on return? Well, they're going to buy more things. It's a good feeling for them. And in many cases, that company's able to get something back for the returned item in a resale value. So, it sort of ends up as a win-win for both organizations. But
it's also going to build up and fortify the lifetime value of the customer. You're going to probably have way more loyalty. So as a result, the overall value of that relationship will come back, despite it makes economic sense. And there's one other thing that I think we talked about this in the last episode, was the person aspect. To me, the more it is merely transactional, and someone can order something and there's no nothing, and it's completely all automated and transactional, and there's no contact. Like, there was one, for example, there's a I don't know if they have it over down in Australia, but do you have Prolon? It's kind of like a 5-day kind of. Prolon is like, it's an interesting thing. It's really taken off. It's like a sort of a 5-day sort of fasting, cleansing kind of thing, and they give you this box. It's like day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5. I remember that I've done this a few times. I've enjoyed it. I remember the first time that I did it. I get the package, and there's a card. Call up this number or schedule a 15-minute consult, so that you actually get all of your questions. So they totally humanized it. And they had this little coach. They had a Prolon coach who gets on the phone and kind of so all of a sudden it's made it personal, as opposed to it now just being, just think of how that changes the overall relationship. If it was just, okay, they sold me something, they shipped me something, I now follow it. There's no human interaction. So all of a sudden I'm like, oh, wow, Tony helped me. I'm like, I feel almost an allegiance. There's a reciprocity element. And I think that again, it comes down to that. How much do we really make brands humanized, personalized, and meaningful?
As a modern e-tailer or online commerce or delivery or whatever you're doing now, you have to take this returns culture into account in your pricing. Like, you have to, otherwise you'll just go bankrupt. There's no two ways around it. You have to work out very clear policies about what you are going to accept and what you're not, and make that very clear during the checkout process, so that people understand what it's going to take, because the worst thing you want to do is get through a checkout experience and Joe over here expects you to just give them a refund if they return something, and you return it and you say, well, we don't actually do that here. And now you're going to be plastered all over social media and you've got negative press. If you make it nice and clear on what's happening, like, hey, yeah, we don't offer cash refunds, but we will give you 105% store credit if you need to return something. If you make that really clear, that then becomes a positive for you as an organization, not a negative. So, yes, definitely, it should be part of your strategy. Absolutely.
Yeah, and making it very clear from the start. Like, I think I've gone into like buying stuff and going, okay, well, if it doesn't fit, I can just give it back. Or if it doesn't, and it almost sets me up for this like irresponsible way of shopping, where I'm like, that's nice, and it's a really bad habit because. But if you're going into the site and you see it on their product and it's like in bold or there's a little note below, then it's like, oh, okay, I have to choose wisely now because, or it makes me want to go in store and go, you know what, if I can't return it, I'm just going to go in, try it on myself. Next one is the farmer's dog. It's essentially dog food. It's a dog food company. And so they have healthy dog food meals and
it's uncooked. That's the whole angle. The normal dry stuff is hard. It's as bad for dogs as processed food is for humans.
Yeah, it's like eating crunchy corn for dinner.
Yeah. I mean, it's quoted, the founders were fed up with highly processed burnt brown balls being marketed as natural. So
yeah, right.
they went and created this. But I wanted to go on how they handle cart abandonments. And I like that they show up with certain surveys. Like there's one, and this is when you've put something in your cart and then for whatever reason you've abandoned it, right? And so then it sends you an email or a pop-up that comes up and it says, we'd love to help. We want to create the perfect plan for you. What can we improve on? So then it has options and just something like this. So one of the options is, I want to see the price. I want to see the recipes. I need more information. I just need more time. And then there's other. And we've banged on about surveying in the past. Michael's a big survey champion. And I want to discuss that and the importance of actually rehabilitating is the complete wrong word, but how do you say, like
re-engaging that customer during the checkout flow. Yeah. Everything they've put on this website, and even down to the survey when you land there, my dog is 4 years old and is a blah, blah, and, being able to specify the type of dog and then having a recipe, that sort of thing is, we're seeing some of our clients now doing this with Store Connect, which is just fantastic. Being able to have that data live updated on the website according to what's in your, product information system within Salesforce that we have as a back end. But doing this sort of stuff is really powerful, and you sort of need to do it now. You got to keep pushing the envelope if you really want to keep growing as a company, and creating this sort of thing is fantastic. Those exit surveys, really, really good. I had an exit survey once. I canceled an account and they sent me a video of their customer support rep getting ice bucketed and saying, this is what we're going to do to Joe because he failed to live up to your expectations. And it was just funny, right? And but let us know if you don't want him to go through this. Let us know. We'll reestablish your account. Is there anything we can do? But it was adding a bit of je ne sais quoi, as they say, is really powerful. People live in this world of everything is has to be corporate speak and communicated, and you can live a little and stretch out. I mean, that's why we created Steve. Is he the perfect mascot? Well, yes, obviously, but he's also just a bit crazy. Like, who has a Tasmanian devil as a mascot in a hoodie?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just one of those things that you gotta. It's human. The person's abandoned their cart. We're about to leave. They've been on the site for 10 minutes, right? So you set a timer in the background that's checking how long they've spent researching your product. And at the end of that, ask them an appropriate question. Sorry, we're seeing you're heading off, or is there any way we can help you? Because obviously we're not giving you the data you need to make this decision because you've spent so much time researching it. Is there anything else we can give you? You don't want to be creepy about it, but I think those questions are fantastic.
Yeah, but I also think like small businesses like this are the ones pushing the boundaries of this new way of interacting with their customers because it's under their control. And I wonder, David, like, what are your thoughts? Because we've known for so long, businesses, it's been normal to have that corporate kind of language and very formal and don't want to offend and don't want to, I don't know, just boxes, right?
Yeah.
But now that businesses are it's easier. It's actually easier to communicate because you're not trying to be this big man in a big suit and pretend that you have all these employees. And it used to be like that. Like business owners would be writing emails saying, we at Flower Bloom believe that when it's only one person. And now, like small businesses are like, it's me. It's literally me and an assistant. This is what you have. And that pulls in more interest than the other way now. What do you think?
It totally cuts through. I mean, that's why Ryan Reynolds, the actor, who's also has many businesses, he's so self-effacing. You can't not like him. I mean, he's so intentionally unprofessional in the way he does stuff. It's just hysterical. It tickles us. And even years ago, there was a wine made by one of the big wineries out in California that there was Bartles and James. And like what, and they would always be standing in like a, just some field somewhere. And one of them was he was a heavier, stockier guy, kind of country guy. And he was the one who talked. And the other one never spoke a word. but he just kind of like was a thin, kind of just like in his sort of like flannel shirt and just, but it was just that unexpected twist first of all, it's going to make us stop and take notice. That's the first thing. If you're going to immediately right out of the gate sound like what we've all heard thousands of times before, are we even going to stop and give you the 2 to 4 seconds that we will grant you to hook us? Will we even do that? No, we're just going to keep on either scrolling or channel surfing or whatever. So that's the first thing. Will it actually interrupt the dialogue going on and our expectation? And if it can do that, then we can at least engage. And it's just, I mean, sometimes I think humor is a powerful thing. Differentiation is obviously a very powerful thing, but doing the unexpected, I mean, it's a routine thing when my wife and I are traveling, when we're flying on Delta. That CEO, it's such a canned communication. And I always bitch about it. I hate this guy. I just rant. But I think that there's a lot of value in this.
So if you have a small business that comes to you and knows that they need to live a little, what would be your piece of advice because they're so used to it? It's not that they don't want to, they just don't know how to. Some business owners are like, I don't know how to just be myself and know that this is going to go as an ad campaign or this is going to go in an email.
You've got to break the ice somewhere between Ricky Gervais's completely inappropriate and awkward dialogues and something definitely dialed back, but somewhere in that realm of unexpected. Like I'll give you an example. I mean, all right, I'm a native New Yorker. I moved to the Midwest. I move out here, and people are like, when they hear that I'm from New York, they're like, "You're from New York?" And it was like the knee-jerk reaction all the time. And after about 9 months or whatever of me always getting that reaction, I said, "Look, I'm from New York," and I said, "It's not part of a witness protection program." That broke the ice. That handled it, and that was like the thing. It was like from that point on, we were solid. We were rocked out. So you kind of have to find that thing that makes it acceptable for if you're an outsider. Is there some way to acknowledge that and recognize that? Or if you're absolutely going to disrupt, I mean, I even did something just the other day, and I said, I've been at this a long time, and now that Meta is no longer fact checking things, I just want you to know, I was responsible for marketing triangles, and I came up with the pyramids. So it's like, so I just use little cultural things. So that was something that people could accept in terms of its absurdity. So loosen up. I think we need to loosen up as a basic.
I think there's a loosen up and also just find your voice.
Yeah.
Like, what is your voice? Well, your voice is how you would talk at a group of friends at around a table around a certain topic. And if you find your voice as a business owner, you can just use that everywhere, and then it comes across as genuine because, well, newsflash, it is, because that's your voice. And if there's one thing that the internet as a machine is optimized to do, is to spot ingenuity. What's the right word for that? Ingenuity. So if there is one thing that the internet is good at, it's a machine that is optimized to spot ingenuity and fakeness and pretending to be something you're not, because they will find it, 100%. And you don't want to be caught in that trap. And the way you avoid that is not trying to be genuine and remembering to be genuine, is just be genuine. And if you're genuine, people will understand. I don't know how many times I get comments from people that I call. I'm on a phone call with someone and they go, "Oh, you know what? I've been following your training program on LinkedIn. You're doing really well on those 5K runs." And I'm like, yeah, just random person on the other side of America who I've never spoken to before. Right. And instantly there's a rapport. Now, is everyone interested in running? No. But the point is, it's genuine. It's me communicating about something that I'm going through, and it's me communicating about something that someone might not even care about. Like, honestly, my split time is not the most important thing on planet Earth right now, but it is a communication, and it's a real communication. at the end of the day, that's what matters. You just gotta communicate and be real. And if you're real, people notice that and they'll engage.
And have you noticed that, Michael? Because you've been very active on LinkedIn. Like, you're posting like 5 to 6 things a day. And now
Sometimes.
I'm like, oh, I didn't know this about Michael. Oh my God. And it's just there's spelling mistakes. It's like,
Yeah, I did a LinkedIn post saying, I'm not using AI from all the spelling mistakes in my tweets and LinkedIn posts. And
but is there anything you've noticed in doing that for the last few months?
The number of times it gets brought up in sales calls. I had a partner on a sales call say to a client who I'd never spoken to, the thing about Michael is he knows that he's a real person. And I went, wow, I'd only spoken to this partner a couple of times, right? But the partner said, yeah, I've been following him on LinkedIn and he talks about the ups and he talks about the downs. And he's not all, rainbows and fairies. He gets into the weeds, and he just posted recently about how he lost a client and why he lost the client. And that was really incredible to see that a SaaS founder would even talk about that. I think it's definitely added to credibility. And I think the other thing for people that want to start on social, the thing that I've found is that your mind would be blown about how much reach your mundane things can actually achieve. It's like you're sitting there as a business owner and you see something and you've got a business meeting and you just write something about it. And people want to see that. They want to see the real aspect. What they don't want to see is a constant flood of we're the best, we're fantastic, where the sun shines out of every possible orifice we have in our collective bodies. That's, there's a time and place for that. You celebrate success and you do all that sort of thing, but you want to make sure that people understand that you're a real person and that you have a 6-year-old that wakes you up at 5 a.m. because she had a nightmare, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's all about how do you get through this life and this beingness. And people want to know. No one's got all the answers. So tell them about how you handled some part of your life and watch your followings grow. It's really interesting. I've been doing this now for about probably 4 or 5 months, actively posting. I was doing 1 a day every day. Now it's 2 a day every day. Sometimes it's 3, sometimes it's more. As you do more, you find more opportunities about things that make sense to post about. And you sort of have to train your body into, or your mind into going, oh, that's something interesting. I could post about that. And just recalling that and remembering that. You just get better and better at it.
All right. Well, that's a gorgeous way to end this podcast episode. And thank you, gentlemen, as always.
Thank you, ma'am.
See you another time.
See you later.
Thanks for joining us today. We hope you had an awesome time leaving you with ideas on how to improve your business and wow customers. If you'd like to leave a real customer's story, head to the link in our show notes and cuss away. Love the show? Please subscribe and leave a review because that enables us to help more businesses in building real relationships with customers and grow more rapidly. See you next time.